So talking about the retouching tools in skin retouching, last class or last season we talked about just 7 important retouching tools, but right now I've increased it to like 12 or 11, and I'm going to quickly point out these tools and so you understand what they do before we dive into the use and how to use them. Okay, so the first one we're going to use is the rectangular mask curl tool, and the second one lasso tool. The third one is the object selection tool and the quick selection tool. The fifth one is the crop tool. The sixth one is the eyedropper tool. The seventh one is the spot healing tool, and the 8th is the healing brush tool. The 9 is the patch tool. The 10 is the brush tool. The 11 is the mixer tool brush, and the 12 is the clone stamp tool. Of course, we have the rest, which blur, sharpening, and smudge tool, more like 15, but I would like to stop at the 12th, which is the clone stamp tool. Now let's see what this tool does. I have a couple of images we're going to be using it on, and I know you're very familiar with this image, and because this image has the perfect use for those tools, that's why I selected it. Okay, so now let's start with this one. Now the first one, which is the lasso tool or the mask curl tool, rectangular mask curl tool, this is actually used in selecting. You can select this, it's just going to select with the rectangle, but the lasso tool is different from that. Control D to deselect. We can select a place in which the rectangular can select. And that, why do we need to select? We need to select because we want to affect that area, maybe remove that object or change the color of that object or fill it with something else. I'm going to show you immediately. And we also have the object selection tool, which functions like the rectangular mask curl tool, where you select and then it selects the object. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So I'm going to quickly do Control deselect, and I'm going to select this place with the rectangular mask curl tool. So just make a selection and make sure the object is in the box, and it's going to quickly select the object by itself. And instead of selecting order, it's going to differentiate. It said it couldn't find an object to select. Okay, let's make a selection. Let's make it big and let's see. Sorry, we're on the wrong layer, so let's choose this layer, unlock the layer, and let's make a selection again. Make a selection, and now it's going to select that place. Select this black stand of the light. So let's wait for Photoshop so you can see the selection has been made. Now that's for the rectangular object selection tool. We have the quick selection tools as well. So Control D to deselect. The quick selection to select object. Just quickly want to select. You can see how fast it is. You can select this object as well. So wherever you want to select, and then you can fill it in. Any object you select, you can quickly go ahead, edit, fill, and you can fill it with either color, or let's say you want to fill it with the color. You can sample a color by clicking the sample. It's okay, and it's okay. It's gonna fill it with that color. Control D to deselect, and you can start painting. So any object you select, you have the ability to fix another color or use the content aware tool on it. So how do we use the content aware tool on it? I'm going to do Control Z, Control D. Let's create a new layer, so whatever we're doing should affect only the layer. Now for that, I'm going to use the lasso tool. I'm going to select this one. So I've selected that. You can quickly go to edit, use fill, and you can use content instead of color. Use content aware. If you choose foreground color, you are using this color above. Let me change it to black and white. Cancel. Let's change it to black and white. Good. Now I still make the selection. Do not forget. Now we can go to edit, fill. The control is Shift F5, so you can use the shortcut. Now is either you fill it with the color or you fill it with the foreground color. Foreground color right now is black. Background color right now is white. So you can fill it with another color. You can fill it with content aware, pattern, history. So all these two, I don't use this two, black, gray, and white. So you can click on content aware and it's okay. And say couldn't find enough pixel for the selected area. Okay, so it's because we have created a new layer. So let's delete that layer. Delete this layer. Yes, and select this one. Now let's do it again. Go to edit, fill, and go to content aware, select the content aware, and it's okay, and it's going to remove that automatically from the background. You can see. So either you select Ctrl Z, Ctrl deselect D. Okay, so you either use this one to select that area, or you use the lasso tool, or you use other selection tool. But whichever selection tool you use, know that you can actually use the content aware, or use the fill tool to fill in another color inside. So I'm going to deselect. Now let's go to the next one. The next one is crop. Of course, you know what crop can do. We can actually bring this thing downwards to somewhere around here, and it's okay. And then we've eliminated those plenty distractions from the background. So I'm going to undo that. So that's what crop tool does. You can crop and crop it, take those things out, bring this down like this, and it's okay. So instead of doing a lot of editing work, and you can just crop it out. So Ctrl Z, that's for crop tool. We also use it in skin retouching. Sorry, I said skin retouching, in image or photo retouching. Okay, and sometimes it's called image editing. So that is when we use the crop tool. And now we go to the eyedropper tool. The eyedropper tool makes you sample. So what it does is, if I hold down shift, it's going to tell me information of the color if you hold shift and select a particular color. But if I hold alt and select a particular color, it's going to give the foreground color that color. Now the foreground color right here is black. So once I hold down alt and I select, it's going to give me that color. You can see it under the background. You can see it under the background changing. So if I select this color on our screen, it's going to change this white color below to it. Okay, but if I want to get information on the color, I'm going to hold down shift and hit it, and the color, I don't want to press it, and you're going to see the information of the color, the RGB information. So when do we need this? We need this in the sense that when we create a new layer and I want to cover everything up, so I'm going to choose the brush tool. Now the brush tool is going to paint with black because the color, I'm going to increase the flow and opacity. So if I paint, I'm painting with black. So Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z. Now if I take the eyedropper tool and I select that color, it's gonna give me that, and we can quickly change it with that and select a brush tool back and start painting with the same color. Or we can go ahead. So whenever we click on a color, you can see what it's changing it to the color we paint. If I click on another color, let's say this one, it's gonna paint with it. So we're painting it on the new layer. So let's say we want to cover this. I'm going to delete this one and add another one. Let's say we want to cover this white. I'm just going to hold down alt, select that area, and bring it up. Select alt, 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 bring it. So we're just selecting. Now let's say we're done with what we have like this, and select this. Notice it's on another layer, so you can just grab the mixer tool brush. Now this is when the mixer tool brush come into place. For you to blend these two colors together, you click on sample all layers, and you can start blending the two image together like this, the two colors together, and it's going to give it a smooth transition like that. So that's how to use it. But we're going to talk about that in a minute. So you can drag it up, drag it up, drag it up, drag it up till it blends, and notice it's on a new layer. That's why it's looking like this. So that's when to use the mixer tool brush. You mix the two colors together and make it blend. So we have this, and now we have this removed. Okay, so now since we've done that, I'm going to delete that. We're going to go to the clone stamp tool. The clone stamp tool clones an area. So hold down alt. If I sample a face and I paint, it's going to paint whatever is there. Sample a face, paint whatever is there. So when do you need this? We need this if I want to remove the stand. Let me sample an area. Hold down alt, sample this place. If I want to remove this stand, I'm just going to paint on it and it's gone. So Ctrl Z. It's best you create a new layer, hold down alt. This one is set to sample current layer. So if I hold down alt and I clean, it's not going to do anything. But if I say sample current and below, it's going to sample these two layers below. the layer below, and you just click Alt and you select and you paint over it, and it's going to cover. Same as this, if I select this side and I paint on it, it's going to select that place alone, and you can keep covering whatever. Let me select from this place like this. So yeah, so that's how to use the tool, and you can now blend it with your mixer to brush and blend these two colors together. As simple as that. So easy, you know what I mean. So all in this new layer. Okay, still loading. I'm going to turn it off and on. So that's just as easy as the tools are functioning. Okay, so I've talked about the clone stamp tool. Which other tool? Talked about the brush tool, spot healing tool. So let's go to the spot healing tool and the healing tool and the patch tool. Now I start with the patch tool. The patch tool, whenever you select something, you can drag it. Let me delete this one. Delete, turn it on. I'm going to delete it. Delete layer. Yep. Okay, so now I'm on this layer. Now the patch tool, whenever you make a selection, you can drag it and it's going to remove. It's function like a content aware tool. Select this, drag it, and boom. So sometimes it's not perfect. Okay, so even as this one, you can drag it down and make it resemble somewhere, but it's not always perfect. At times you just need to combine all the tools together and make sure it's the perfect tool. So for this one, I'm going to remove that with the patch tool, and sometimes I'm going to add some. I'm going to use the brush tool, and sometimes I'm going to use the lasso tool to make a selection and drag it. So all those things, even the lasso tool, you can select an object like this and go back to the patch tool and drag it out. So they function the same. Okay, now let's go to the spot healing spot tool. Let's start with the spot healing tool. For that, I'm going to use this image. So let me turn on this image and make it bigger like this, and I'm going to say okay, so let's rasterize it. If not, we're not going to be able to use the tool. Now, like I said, spot healing tool. Let's take, for instance, all these things on our face are spots. These stars that's on our face, they are spots. So what we need to do is just to click on it. It functions like a content aware. So click on it, click on it, click on it. It's just going to be removing that for you. So it's used in removing blemishes and spots and the rest of. So if you although there are advanced method of doing that, so just click and it's all gone. Now another way of doing it is to use the spot healing brush tool, and this one is you're just going to sample just like the clone stamp tool. You're going to sample an area holding down Alt, and you sample this place and you click on it, and it's going to use that place. If I sample on the lips and I click on it, it's going to take that color and it's going to take that texture. You can see how rough it looks. So let's say I want to use this one. It's going to be rough and it's not going to match it. So you can see how it looks rough. Okay, so now instead of using that, you can use that and choose somewhere close. Let me say sample somewhere close like this. Hold down Alt, sample here and click it, because they are of the same proximity. So instead of taking something like this and putting it on top, it's going to give you that. You can see because it's sampling from the bad side. Alright, so it's different from the clone stamp tool. The clone stamp tool is going to copy both the texture and the color and place it there. Why that other one, the healing brush tool, is just going to copy the texture and place it there. Alright, so now like the patch tool, like I said, whenever I make a selection, I can drag it out and make a selection. I can drag it out. So you can use either that, or you use your spot healing tool brush and start, but there are times the spot healing tool brush won't work. Okay, and there are times the lasso tool won't work. There are other tools that are going to work. So this, and you can take the lasso tool, like I said, and circle an area, and then choose the patch tool and then drag it out. So, but the patch tool already have a selection tool thanks to Photoshop, and we can just keep dragging and removing blemishes. Now, this is very easy because the stuff are isolated and they are different. They're not too scattered everywhere. Unlike this picture you've seen everywhere. Ctrl D to deselect. I'm going to make it bigger. The good thing about this picture is a very good example for frequency separation that I'm going to explain. because right now we have so many rashes, and you can just go ahead and start picking the spot healing tool and start doing the, let's rasterize it, and start doing the removing all the small details, making it smaller and removing it like this. It's actually going to be very, very hard, and you won't even get the perfect job. So I can't do this all day and start doing it. You are going to see it's even looking rough already. So that's the bad part of it. So I can't keep doing this. So now there are other ways to do it. You can use any of the tools. Even the Lazio tool won't give you a good job. The healing brush tool will give you a good job. The clone stamp tool will give you a good job. So there's another advanced method of doing, and this is the perfect photo for me to explain that method. Okay, so I'm going to come back to this image again. All right, so that's that for all the tools you need in retouching. Okay, so I hope you all are catching up with how this tool function. Please familiarize yourself with these tools so that you can be able to follow up when I'm using it, and when I mention it, you will be able to locate it quickly. All right, so thank you guys. See you in the next class, where we talk about how to do skin retouching with the tools.